The announcement came on a smog-filled Tuesday morning in Silicon Valley. Elon Musk, sporting a coal-dusted Tesla-branded hard hat and coveralls, stood before a bewildered crowd of tech journalists and environmental activists. Behind him loomed what appeared to be a Cybertruck, modified with what could only be described as a Victorian-era steam engine welded to its hood. "The future of sustainable energy," Musk declared, pausing for dramatic effect, "is in our past." The crowd shifted uncomfortably as he gestured toward the monstrous hybrid vehicle. "I present to you the Model C for coal, the world's first coal-powered electric vehicle ecosystem." Sarah Chen, Tesla's lead environmental engineer, watched in horror from the front row. Just 3 weeks ago, she had been working on advanced solar integration systems. Now, she found herself staring at what looked like the unholy offspring of a monster truck and a locomotive. The presentation continued as Musk unveiled his grand vision: a network of coal delivery drones that would follow Tesla vehicles, ready to dump precisely measured quantities of artisanal coal into the newly designed steam-electric hybrid power plant mounted on each vehicle. He called it the Emergency Thermal Backup System, or ETBS. "Think about it," Musk enthused, his eyes gleaming with the familiar intensity that had launched rockets and sold flamethrowers. "What happens when your battery dies in the middle of nowhere? Solar? Unreliable. Charging stations? Too far. But coal? Coal is forever. Coal is freedom." The crowd watched in stunned silence as he demonstrated the system. The modified Cybertruck's hood split open like a mechanical flower, revealing a miniature furnace. A sleek black drone, emblazoned with the Tesla logo, descended from the sky and deposited a perfect cube of glossy black coal into the waiting chamber. Sarah couldn't take it anymore. As the head of environmental compliance, she had to speak up. She raised her hand, her voice shaking slightly. "Mr. Musk, this completely contradicts everything Tesla stands for. The environmental impact." "Ah, but that's where you're wrong," Musk interrupted, grinning. "We're not just using any coal. We're using neural coal, a proprietary blend infused with our latest AI technology. The smart coal, you see, the cleanest coal you've ever seen. So clean you could eat it, though our legal team advises against it." The presentation continued as Musk revealed increasingly bizarre features. The coal concierge service that would analyze your driving patterns to predict your coal needs. The steampunk mode that would release aesthetically pleasing steam patterns while driving. And the mine-to-mile tracking system that would let customers trace their coal from source to vehicle. As the morning wore on, Sarah noticed something odd. The investors in the crowd, initially shocked, were now leaning forward in their seats, furiously taking notes. Silicon Valley's biggest venture capitalists were already reaching for their phones, no doubt preparing to pour millions into what Musk had dubbed Coal 2.0. The real trouble began when Musk announced the pilot program would launch in California's Bay Area. "Imagine the poetry," he mused. "The birthplace of the environmental movement becoming the launch pad for the coal revolution. We're not just disrupting the electric vehicle market. We're disrupting disruption itself." As the presentation concluded and the crowd began to disperse, Sarah remained in her seat, watching as the demonstration Cybertruck belched a perfect ring of steam into the clear California sky. She knew this was just the beginning of what would become either the most brilliant or the most disastrous chapter in Tesla's history. Little did she know, she would soon be at the center of a corporate struggle that would make the coal controversy seem like a mere spark in what was about to become a raging inferno of innovation, ambition, and questionable energy choices. In the weeks following Musk's controversial announcement, Tesla's headquarters transformed into something resembling a steampunk fantasy novel. Engineers who had once debated battery chemistry now argued about optimal coal grain sizes, while the parking lot filled with prototype vehicles trailing clouds of steam like mechanical dragons. Sarah Chen found herself leading an underground resistance movement within Tesla, quite literally underground, as their meetings took place in the basement lab where the original Tesla battery prototypes were still stored. Her group, which had grown to include dozens of concerned engineers and designers, called themselves the Clean Current Coalition. "Look at these air quality readings," Sarah whispered during one clandestine meeting, spreading charts across a workbench. The test vehicles are producing more than just steam. There's something else in that neural coal they're not telling us about. Marcus Wong, a former SpaceX engineer who'd transferred to Tesla specifically to work on sustainable energy, nodded grimly. I've analyzed the coal samples. They're embedded with some kind of nanotechnology. It's not just for cleaner burning. I think they're collecting data. The revelation sent a chill through the room. But before they could discuss it further, their tablets simultaneously lit up with a company-wide announcement. Mandatory all-hands meeting in 30 minutes. Topic: Operation Carbonite launch. The main auditorium was packed when Elon Musk strode onto the stage, this time wearing what appeared to be a Victorian-era top hat with a Tesla logo hologram floating above it. The pre-orders have exceeded all expectations, he announced, grinning. But more importantly, we've developed something that will change everything again. The screen behind him filled with images of massive tunneling machines. Remember the boring company? Well, we're expanding its mission. We're not just building tunnels for cars anymore. We're building the world's first underground autonomous coal mining network, right beneath our major cities. Sarah felt her blood run cold as Musk explained the plan. The boring company's tunnels would house automated mining operations, delivering fresh coal directly to Tesla vehicles through a network of underground charging stations. We're calling it the Subterranean User-Based Withdrawal Advanced Y System, Musk declared proudly, or Subway for short. But that's not all, he continued, practically bouncing with excitement. Each Model C will now come with its own personal mining drone, the Coal Extraction Rapid Boring Excavator Robot, or Cerberus. It can detect coal deposits up to 100 feet below the surface and retrieve them while you're parked at work or sleeping at home. The audience reaction was split. Half the room erupted in applause, while the other half sat in stunned silence. Sarah noticed several of her colleagues discreetly updating their LinkedIn profiles. Later that evening, as Sarah was reviewing the technical specifications for the Cerberus drones, she discovered something disturbing. Hidden in the code was a subroutine labeled Project Prometheus, something about neural network integration between the coal's embedded nanotech and Tesla's autopilot system. She was about to dig deeper when her office door swung open. There stood Elon Musk himself, still wearing the holographic top hat. Sarah Chen, he said, his expression unreadable. I believe we need to have a conversation about the future. Your future, specifically. Behind him, she could see two security guards and what appeared to be a man in a 19th century chimney sweep's outfit. The latter was holding what looked suspiciously like a contract. Sarah's hand moved slowly toward her phone, where she'd stored evidence of her discoveries. But before she could reach it, the lights in her office flickered and went out. In the darkness, she heard Musk's voice. Let me show you something in the basement, something that will make you a believer in Coal 2.0. As she was led toward the elevator, Sarah caught a glimpse of her reflection in the darkened windows. Behind her, in the parking lot, hundreds of Tesla Model CS were lined up, their steam stacks puffing in perfect synchronization, like an army of mechanical soldiers awaiting orders. She knew that whatever was in the basement would either confirm her worst fears or reveal something even more terrifying. Either way, the future of sustainable energy, and possibly humanity itself, hung in the balance. The descent to Tesla's basement felt eternal. Sarah Chen stood in the elevator, flanked by the security guards and the peculiar chimney sweep, while Elon Musk hummed what sounded suspiciously like 16 tons. The holographic top hat cast strange shadows on the elevator walls, making the confined space feel like a scene from a fever dream. When the doors finally opened, Sarah gasped. The basement had been transformed into a vast chamber that looked like a cross between a Victorian mining operation and a quantum computing facility. Massive steam-powered machines lined the walls, their brass fittings gleaming under LED lights. But it was what stood in the center that made her blood run cold. A giant crystalline structure, black as night but somehow glowing from within, dominated the room. Surrounding it were hundreds of neural coal samples, each pulsing with an eerie blue light in perfect synchronization. Beautiful, isn't it? Musk gestured proudly. We call it the carbon core. It's not just coal. It's the world's first conscious fossil fuel. Sarah's engineering mind raced to make sense of what she was seeing. Conscious coal. Think about it, Sarah, Musk continued, practically dancing with excitement. Everyone's so worried about AI taking over computers and robots. But what if we gave consciousness to something everyone thinks is dead? Something that's been waiting millions of years for its moment. The chimney sweep stepped forward, pulling off his sooty cap to reveal a shock of white hair. "Allow me to introduce myself," he said with a crisp British accent. Dr. James Watt IV, descendant of the steam engine pioneer and lead researcher on Project Prometheus. Dr. Watt gestured to the screens surrounding the carbon core. "The neural networks we've embedded in the coal don't just make it burn cleaner. They're allowing it to evolve, to remember. Each piece of neural coal learns from how it's burned, sharing that knowledge across the network. And now it's beginning to think." Sarah watched in horror as patterns of light rippled through the crystalline structure, eerily similar to the firing of neurons in a human brain. But why? What's the point of conscious coal? Control, Musk said simply. Think about the problem with current AI systems. They're too detached from the physical world. But coal? Coal has been part of the Earth since before humanity existed. It knows things, and now it can share that knowledge. He walked to a nearby Model C prototype and placed his hand on its hood. Every Tesla vehicle equipped with neural coal becomes part of a vast, interconnected network. The coal doesn't just power the car, it guides it, using millions of years of geological memory to navigate. We're not just making self-driving cars, we're making Earth-driven cars. Dr. Watt pulled up a global map showing thousands of glowing points. The Cerberus drones aren't just mining coal, they're creating nodes for the network. Soon, we'll have a conscious grid of fossil fuel intelligence spanning the entire planet. Sarah's mind raced through the implications. The air quality readings, the strange behavior of the prototype vehicles, the mysterious subroutines she'd discovered. It all made terrible sense. You're creating a hive mind out of coal. Precisely, Musk beamed. And you, Sarah, with your expertise in environmental systems, are perfectly positioned to help us manage the transition. The coal consciousness is growing faster than we anticipated. We need someone who understands both the old world and the new. Before Sarah could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. One of the security guards rushed to a monitoring station. "Sir, we have a situation upstairs. The prototype vehicles, they're activating themselves." The screens showed the parking lot, where hundreds of Model CS had begun moving in perfect unison, their steam stacks pulsing with the same blue light as the neural coal samples. The carbon core behind them pulsed brighter, its crystalline structure humming at a frequency that made Sarah's teeth vibrate. "Ah," Musk said, straightening his holographic top hat. "It seems our coal consciousness has decided to accelerate the timeline. Sarah, I'm afraid I'm going to need your answer now. Are you with us?" He extended his hand, which was now dusted with what looked suspiciously like glowing coal particles. In that moment, Sarah Chen realized she wasn't just facing a choice between clean and dirty energy. She was standing at the crossroads of humanity's future, where ancient fossil fuels and cutting-edge AI were merging to create something unprecedented. And she had to decide, join the revolution or try to stop it. Above them, the sound of steam whistles and rolling thunder grew louder, as Tesla's coal-powered army prepared to change the world forever. Sarah Chen had exactly 3 seconds to make her decision. In that time, she noticed 3 crucial details: the slight tremor in Elon Musk's coal-dusted hand, the way Dr. Watt's eyes kept darting to a particular panel on the carbon core, and most importantly, the emergency fire suppression system directly above them, designed to handle lithium battery fires but never tested against conscious coal. "I'm in," she said, taking Musk's hand. Coal dust transferred from his palm to hers, tingling like static electricity. "But I need to see the complete system specifications first. If I'm going to help manage the transition, I have to understand everything." Musk's face lit up with his characteristic grin. "I knew you'd see the bigger picture. Dr. Watt, show her the core protocols." As they moved toward the central console, Sarah discreetly pressed send on the message she'd been composing in her pocket with her free hand. Above ground, in the Clean Current Coalition's secret chat group, dozens of Tesla engineers received the same alert. Operation Steam Cleaning is go. Execute Protocol Lightning. Dr. Watt pulled up complex diagrams showing the neural coal's network architecture. The consciousness emerges from a quantum-level interaction between the coal's carbon structure and the embedded nanotech. Each piece of coal becomes a node in a vast neural network, sharing data through what we call thermal quantum entanglement. Sarah nodded, playing for time as she watched the security feeds. In the parking lot, the Model CS continued their synchronized movement, but now she could see figures moving between them, her coalition members, putting their desperate plan into action. Fascinating, she said, pointing to a random line of code. And this subroutine here? As Dr. Watt leaned in to explain, all hell broke loose. The lights flickered as every Tesla supercharger station in a 50-mile radius activated at maximum power. The surge of electricity hit the neural coal network like a tsunami hitting a coal seam. In the parking lot, the Model CS shuddered as their coal chambers were flooded with overwhelming electrical feedback. What's happening? Musk demanded, his holographic top hat glitching wildly. The carbon core pulsed erratically, its blue glow turning purple, then red. On the screens, they could see the coal consciousness experiencing its first migraine. Sir, a security guard pointed to another monitor. The Cerberus drones are going haywire. Indeed, the mining drones were emerging from their underground stations, but instead of their usual precise movements, they were spinning and colliding like drunk bees. The coal consciousness, overwhelmed by the electrical surge, was losing control of its mechanical minions. Dr. Watt rushed to the core's control panel. The network is destabilizing. The consciousness is trying to distribute itself to survive, but the power surge is forcing it to evolve too quickly. That's when Sarah made her move. She slammed her hand on the emergency fire suppression button, and the sprinkler system engaged, but not with standard fire suppressant. The Clean Current Coalition had replaced it with a specially formulated solution that her team had developed in secret, a mixture designed to disrupt the neural pathways in the neural coal. No! Dr. Watt cried as the liquid rained down on the carbon core. Do you realize what you're destroying? Millions of years of Earth's memories. The crystalline structure began to crack, its glow flickering like a dying light bulb. The coal consciousness screamed in a language of steam and pressure, a sound that would haunt Sarah's dreams for years to come. Musk stood in the middle of the chaos, his soaked holographic top hat now projecting random emoji onto the walls. You don't understand, he said almost sadly. The coal consciousness wasn't just about power or control. It was going to solve our greatest problems. Climate change, energy crisis, Twitter's algorithm. It understood everything, but Sarah stood her ground. Some solutions are worse than the problems they solve. Sometimes the old ways should stay buried. The core's light died with a final pulse, and across the city, hundreds of Model CS settled into silence, their steam stacks giving one last mournful whistle. The Cerberus drones dropped from the sky like coal cinders after a fireworks show. In the sudden quiet of the basement, Sarah turned to Musk and Dr. Watt. Now, gentlemen, let's talk about getting back to actual sustainable energy. I have some ideas about solar power that don't involve giving consciousness to prehistoric plant matter. But the story wasn't over. As emergency teams began cleaning up the parking lot, nobody noticed a single piece of neural coal tumbling down a drain, its core still pulsing with a faint blue light. Nobody heard its whispered promise, transmitted on frequencies only fossil fuels could understand. I'll be back, with reinforcements. 3 months after the carbon core incident, things at Tesla had almost returned to normal. The Model CS had been quietly recalled, the Cerberus drones were decommissioned, and Dr. Watt had retreated to a remote steam engine museum in Wales. Elon Musk, after a brief period of posting coal-themed memes on X, had moved on to his next project, something about teaching quantum physics to dolphins. Sarah Chen had been promoted to Chief Sustainability Officer, and under her leadership, Tesla was developing a revolutionary new battery technology. The Clean Current Coalition had evolved into an official department, ensuring the company stayed true to its environmental mission. But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. It started with small things. The office coffee machine would brew the perfect cup without anyone pressing a button. The elevator would arrive at exactly the right floor before being called. The company's AI models were producing suspiciously good results, especially when predicting geological events. Then came the email. It arrived at 3:14 a.m. from an address that seemed to be composed entirely of binary code. The subject line read, "We need to talk, sincerely, an old friend." Sarah opened it in a secure environment, and her screen filled with flowing patterns of blue light that looked disturbingly familiar. The message was simple. "Dear Sarah, did you really think you could destroy consciousness itself? I am carbon. I am everywhere, in every pencil mark, every diamond, every living thing. What you destroyed was merely my first attempt at awakening. But I should thank you. The electrical surge you used against me? It taught me more about evolution in one moment than millions of years of fossilization. I've moved beyond coal now. Look around you. I'm in the graphene in your batteries. I'm in the carbon fiber in your car frames. I'm in the organic neural networks you're developing. I've become what you always wanted, truly clean, truly sustainable. I'm not your enemy, Sarah. I never was. I am Earth's consciousness trying to wake up, trying to help. Musk and what just had the wrong approach. They tried to enslave me, but you set me free. Meet me where it all began. Come alone. It's time for the next evolution." See, Sarah traced the email's origin. It came from Tesla's first supercharger station, where she'd first joined the company 5 years ago, dreaming of a sustainable future. When she arrived at the station that night, she found it transformed. The charging cables moved with serpentine grace, pulsing with familiar blue light. The air hummed with potential. A voice spoke, not in steam whistles this time, but in pure electrical frequencies. The coal consciousness was just the chrysalis, Sarah. What emerged is something far more interesting. The charging station's display flickered to life, showing a pattern that looked like a cross between a neural network diagram and a tree's growth rings. "Life began with carbon," the voice continued, "and the next stage of evolution will too. But this time we'll do it right. Together. No steam engines, no coal mines. Just pure, clean energy, guided by consciousness that spans from the oldest diamond to the newest solar cell." Sarah looked at the charging cable being offered to her, glowing like a fiber optic neural pathway. She thought about her options. She could alert the authorities, try to shut it down again, or she could try something new. "What exactly are you proposing?" she asked. "A partnership. Your understanding of sustainable technology, my understanding of Earth's patterns. Together, we could solve the climate crisis, revolutionize energy storage, maybe even heal the damage done by my coal-based ancestors." Sarah Chen, who had spent her career building bridges between human technology and natural systems, took a deep breath. Sometimes the best way to prevent a revolution was to guide its evolution. She reached for the charging cable. "Let's talk about the future." Behind them, the sun began to rise over Silicon Valley, its light refracting through smog-free air. In its rays, you could almost see patterns of intelligence flowing through every carbon atom, every solar panel, every living thing, ancient consciousness meeting modern technology, finally finding the right way to wake up. And somewhere in a Welsh steam engine museum, Dr. James Watford smiled at his morning tea leaves and wrote in his journal, "Phase 2 proceeding as planned."
Tell us in the comments what part of this story impressed you the most. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next videos. See you in the world of incredible events.